It's been almost 4 years since Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach released, and with the divided fandom and all the different theorists having their own different theories, we still cannot figure out the true story beneath this game. That's where I come in. By the end of this theory, I think we'll have a new player in who could be Patient 46. But with how wild this theory is, so many people are gonna think I've gone crazy. You're wrong. That was really cringy. So let's dive right into Patient 46. What are some things we know about Patient 46? Well, we know that they don't like the outside, and they prefer to keep the windows shut. And personally, I feel like we could rule out Gregory because he's so adamant about getting out of this place. Please help me. This place behind me where I actually want to go. As well as a cut voice line from Freddy on the way to the medic bay.
I am detecting blood. You are injured.
Now we do have the pleasure of living in Scott's world. So, synthetic blood, discs that can turn humans, discs that can turn animatronics to look like humans, spirits haunting robots, Emma Myers. So honestly, we can rule out Vanessa and we can rule out Gregory, and I'm pretty sure we can mark out that guy too. Those three are the only ones that are living or remotely living in the game. Everyone else is an animatronic. But this is where it gets interesting. Now, hold on, I know what I'm about to throw at you is a little, like, I get it'll be a little weird to catch up. So throughout Security Breach, one thing remains constant throughout the game. And it's not the jump scares, it's not the fighting the animatronics, it's actually the Nightmare-owned plushies that are scattered throughout the Pizzaplex. At first you might find one or two and be like, oh, Steel will edit this in, oh, good going guys, good going, until that one or two turns into... And these things are meant to be hidden. They are meant to just watch over you. And that's not the only connection to Nightmare-owned in this game. Firstly, we have the underground staff bots. The staff bots you see in the sewers. Instead of the clean staff bots that you get on ground surface, you've got all these... You have these staff bots that look grimy. They've got a mouth... They have mouths painted on them. They have teeth. They have striped arms. Just like the Nightmare-owned. And you probably thought I was done there. I'm sorry, but I'm not. There's one more noticeable thing I've noticed. There are probably more hidden around the Pizzaplex, but most notably, the L-Chips arcade, or more specifically, the wires in the arcade. Now, most of the time in Security Breach, you've got just that basic black wire. Okay, until you reach the arcade, where the wires are literally resemblant of Nightmare-owned's hands, or should I say arms. The resemblances are just so much to count. Why is Nightmare-owned showing up so much in this game? Why is there a Nightmare plushie? Why are there why are there staff bots that are just like the Nightmare-owned? Why? Oh, at this point I was pretty overwhelmed. So I was sat there lying in bed, and I was just throwing around theories, until I landed on one. Now, in order for this to work, we need to go back to the theory that what if the Mimic is not Burnt Trap, and it's actually William Afton? In which this is a theory I do tend to believe, or lean into mostly. And this is where people will start to go, idiot. I know. At this point, William is supposed to be trapped in his nightmare, because Charlie and the vengeful spirits won't let him pass on. I had one name pop into mine. Charlie. And at this point, Charlie's been dead for decades. Well, what I say about that is yes and no. The truth being, Charlie is dead. But there might be one Charlie alive. In the Silver Eyes trilogy, there are like 3 Charlies built. One Charlie is a toddler, one as a teen and one as an adult. And Henry is able to make these look like actual humans, but William ends up stealing these. And he cannot replicate Henry's perfect concoction. What Henry does in the books is, whenever he's not pleased with something, he dismantles it for parts. So I think William Afton got his hands on this prototype Tiny Charlie and tried to fix it, but because he couldn't replicate it, he couldn't get a nearly identical human. Here's more proof. I should have said something about this earlier, but the therapist mentions that there was a picture taken of her and it was blurry. Continue the video, me. In the tape messages, the interviewer goes on to say that he really likes fantasies, or she lives in a fantasy. I don't know. I'll have the clip play.
What I mean is that the way you told the story is more like you were reading something from a book than you were talking about your own past. That makes me think you've cut.
What if patient 46 is telling the truth, and there are pretty much two main people holding William in his prison, the vengeful spirit and Charlie the protector? What if William was able to find a loophole and exploited it? Now we turn to Princess Quest. So for Princess Quest, we've pretty much figured out that the princess is Vanessa, and she's kind of split in between these four machines as little parts of herself that Glitchtrap is holding hostage while Vanny and the final remnant of Vanessa battle in Vanessa's mind. Well, what if it wasn't just Vanessa in the game, but Cassidy? What if there's a split personality in the princess, where one half is Cassidy and the other half is Vanessa? This would make perfect sense, considering that the vengeful spirit is so strong. Cassidy would literally have to be broken up into multiple parts to be weaker than William. Now we turn to Charlie. So what if the Charlie bot broke free one day and just kind of emerged into the world? I think this bot would be pretty confused, considering that it thinks it's human and literally has Charlie's memories. Eventually someone would reach out and give her help, but this therapist believes she's lying, although she's telling the truth. But it's like the perfect combination for security breach. William Afton is back, so quite literally you would have to have Cassidy and Charlie out of the picture. Also, think about how Charlie died. Think about how Charlie died. Charlie died outside, hence why wouldn't she want to go outside? I think it's safe to say that patient 46 just doesn't like windows. Back in the cutscene, Charlie was standing in a window, and the last thing she saw was Freddy handing out gifts. Hence, dear God, the sticky note room. So a lot of people believe that a baby robot was being taught in that room, which I can see, but I don't think it was Gregory, and I don't think it was the mimic. I think it was Charlie, because in the post-its, there is quite literally someone's memories of a party being played out into these sticky notes. And last I checked, in Secret from the Mimic, David never had a party like that, or even meeting Freddy. Not to mention that the sticky notes and Charlie's handwriting in the graphic novels are very similar. I get this was a very far-fetched theory, and there are probably some loose ends that probably don't connect, but that's not what makes theorizing. Theorizing is fun, because we're coming up with these ideas, and it's like, what if? If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button. It would really help out my channel. It really expand on growth and allows me to make more awesome theories for you guys. I'll see y'all later. Have a good night. Peace.